Assalamu alaikum and greetings. Today I'm going to talk about complex numbers. To understand complex numbers, we need to understand real numbers first. We know and we are familiar with the terms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0.5, 0.006, pi, etc. They are real numbers because they mean something in our real lives. They make complete sense in our real lives. Let me make it a bit more clear to you, right? Suppose you have 3 apples and your friend Mike here loves to eat apple. You give an apple to him. So how do we say it mathematically? We say you got 3 minus 1 apples left for you, that is 2 apples left for you. Now the number -1 refers to something that has been lost. In this case, you have lost an apple. So this is how real numbers work, right? They have applications in our real lives. But we are here to understand complex numbers. So let's move to that part of the lecture, right? To understand complex numbers, first we need to look at this equation. Here we have x squared plus 1 is equal to 0. Or we can write x squared is equal to -1. Or we can also write x is equal to plus minus root over -1. So here we have a root, and behind the root we have -1. We have all learned what square root is, right? By square rooting a number, we are actually finding a number which will produce the number we are square rooting in the first place when multiplied by itself. For example, by square rooting 4, we get positive and -2. That means if we multiply +2 by +2, we will get the number that we were square rooting in the first place, that is 4. If we multiply -2 with -2, we will again get a +4, the number that we were square rooting in the first place. But in this case, we have -1. Can we produce -1 in this way? No, it's not possible, because if we multiply a negative number with a negative number, we will get a positive number. If we multiply a positive number with a positive number, we will again get a positive number. In this way, we will not be able to reach any negative numbers, right? So we simply say that we don't know the answer of root over -1. So we imagine the answer. We say it's a complex number, it's an imaginary number, and we don't know the answer of root over -1. So we call it a complex number. This root over -1 is the basis of all complex numbers. We will find it in the following. The general form of complex number is x plus iy. Now what does this x and y mean? Right? X is an element of R, y is an element of R too. And we know that I is equal to root over -1. We say that I is equal to root over -1 in all the cases of complex numbers. Now, for example, if we want to say what is root over -2, we will divide it in 2 pieces. You can write it as root over -1 multiplied by root 2, right? Root over -1 is I, root over 2 is root over 2. We can also write this term by dividing it into 2 pieces too. 0 plus I root 2. Now 0 can be referred to as x, and root 2 can be referred to as y, and I means root over -1. We can make all the complex numbers go to this general form x plus iy. and we denote complex numbers as z. So we say z is equal to x plus iy. It is the general form of all complex numbers. If we were looking for an explanation of root over -1, we can also divide root over -1 like this. We can say root over -1 is 0 plus root over -1 multiplied by 1. We can say then that 0 refers to x, -1 is I, and 1 refers to y. And we can see that 0 and 1 are real numbers, right? They exist in our real life. Hence, we get this term z is equal to x plus iy or a plus ib as the general form or term of all complex numbers. So what are complex numbers?